It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Oh,
yeah.
What do you got? We haven't discussed this.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
The whole TikTok thing.
No.
Now, let me tell you where I stand here.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know who's telling me the truth or the full story.
Yeah.
Okay, you know where I'm going
right.
then.
Yeah.
We have not.
Yeah.
Because there I am watching Rand Paul saying, this is a free speech issue. Free speech issue. It's not owned by the Chinese government. There are independent Chinese people that own it. There are stockholders in America that own it. And I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
Because I know that you have companies in China where there's a lot of American influence. But the fact is, it still has Chinese owners that communicate with the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
And from what we're being told, the algorithms are getting inside of your smartphone, whatever your device is, getting information that the Chinese government can use against you. Now, is that happening or is it not happening? Because then it's not a free speech issue. The free speech issue doesn't matter.
Well,
I'm being told on one hand, or have for the last year or 2 years, however long it's been going on,
right,
that no, they're getting in and this could be a security threat, and all of a sudden it becomes a free speech issue?
Because the grassroots thing to get it banned was started on that security risk, including, the security of pretty much anybody who has that app on their phone. That was a kind of a grassroots calling.
Right.
I remember that, in fact, Rogan was a part of that. And I forget who the guest he had on was. And it's, okay, everybody should be greatly concerned. Next thing you know, we need to ban it. And then we get to the ban this week, and it's like, no, we need to save it. Well, which is it?
Yeah, because it's a free speech issue, and the same people that claim they're for free speech aren't for free speech. Well, if, I don't care what the partial ownerships of it is.
No.
All I care about is one thing. Is it true that the Chinese government is getting information from Americans that they can use that can harm our national security?
Right.
At that point, there is no free speech issue.
No.
And in the interview I saw, when Rand Paul was talking about free speech, nobody asked him the other question, which I needed that other question to be asked and answered.
Right.
So are they making it up that it's not a security risk? What is it?
Well, that's the problem I had with it. That's exactly the problem I had with it. It's hold on a second. There was a grassroots effort to ban it that, basically became political, and we got to ban it. And then all of a sudden it seemed like we got to save it over the weekend. Well, what are we doing? And what is the threat ultimately?
Right. And for Rand Paul's free speech issue, I don't know anybody, even on the left, that wishes to ban free speech,
right,
that is saying ban it because we need to censor it better.
Yeah, right.
There's the age appropriate talk for for social media,
right,
but that's not a free speech issue.
No, it isn't.
So I need somebody to cover the entire. I need somebody that I can trust, who's got the technical expertise. And now I did see the Trumps who have given it 75 days now.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz
right,
said in the law he can do 75 days, and then it's over.
Right.
It either has to be an American company that owns it,
right,
or it's
gone,
or it's gone. But this is, this came from legislation, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it?
Right.
And, all of a sudden, like I said, with Rand Paul with the free speech issue, and Rand Paul can be credible much of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on here? And in the interview clip that I saw, I haven't been able to find the entire clip interview. I'm trying to find out, okay, you asked the free speech question. Well, what about the national security question?
Right.
Is there a national security question? Are they overblowing the national security risks? And if so, then why are they doing it? Because with Rand Paul bringing up it's free speech, well, in this debate going on what? How many years now? 2 years maybe? Longer?
I think 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years? Except for the age-appropriate content on social media, I don't know anybody who has said it needs to be censored or banned for adults. Have you?
No. No, and, that's the thing. It started in one direction, got to that, okay, we're going to ban it because, the Chinese and it's a threat. And it got all the way, as you mentioned, to legislation, putting the ban in place. And then over the weekend, it was, we got to save it. What are we doing? Why do we have to save it? And and I think in part it may be the position of the current administration. Thank you. That, all right, look, there may be an opportunity here because Trump talked about the value, what the value may be and everything else. And there may be an opportunity here to create wealth, expand wealth in the U.S. by a U.S. owner, and it fits the law.
Mm-hmm.
And let's hit the brakes and see if we can, again, work this thing out for 75 days in order to find a new buyer. But it seemed like a 180. And it could well be that it's, all right, Trump is, I didn't have the power to do anything before. We'll hit the brakes here, see if we can find a buyer. Because my question would be on the technical thing, because I'm with you. I mean, all right, let's get into you get into the rabbit hole, really, of the security threat. Isn't that now over with so many, what they say, 170 million users? Well, I mean, if that security threat is there, when you delete the app, if it's no longer in place, but they had the app on their phone before, is it still a threat? I don't know. I can't tell you. And that would be, those are the questions. And also, all right, we find a U.S. buyer, but the Chinese still have the ability to circumvent security. Again, if you're going to find, if there is a threat here, it needs to be identified, needs to be very clear. Everybody needs to be very clear as to what the threat is. And the questions have to be asked, does that threat still exist even under new ownership?
Right. Or do you go to all new servers?
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
Don't know how they would remedy that. Yeah. I'm not sure. But it became something that really started with conversations about, hey, look what the Chinese are doing with TikTok. And at first it was one of those, that's just a bunch of conspiracy theories. They got to the point of legislation, and here we are. So I don't know technically what the specific threat is or how you squash that after, again, you've got 170 million users. Well,
I saw Kevin O'Leary offered $20 billion for it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that didn't go through. I don't know what it's worth. So
I don't know what the valuation on that would be. I don't know what the monetization of that has been. I do know that they are monetizing. I don't know what the revenue stream looks like. I have no idea. And a lot of that probably has to do with what the current ownership is. So I don't know how you come to that, the valuation and the potential long-term, what the earnings potential is of something like that. I have to believe that, like with all social media, it's limited. You have Facebook right now that has a very, it's an aging user base. Young people are not on Facebook. That's a problem. And I don't know. I mean, but there's a trend that goes here and there. I saw an ad the other day for Snapchat. I thought, well, why do you have to place an ad? Well, it was how to use Snapchat in business, right? If you're, and I think they were targeting specifically content creators, but it was, this can leverage you this way. Well, I think it's the trends are in and out with social media to begin with. So setting a valuation on it, I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
No, that's a great point, because it may be in now, but out.
Well, and
18 months from now.
And it could be also quite the opposite, too, with many people believe that Elon Musk overpaid for Twitter. But they believe you can build that valuation going forward, and he may end up a winner. If he ever sells it, at some point it could be worth more than he paid for it. Again, it depends on where the trends are. You've got to bring people to it. You got to bring users in. He's done a pretty good job at that.
While cutting the workforce significantly.
Exactly. I think it's just him and Barron Trump. I think those are the only two working at X now, I think.
Did you see the picture of Zuckerberg looking at Bezos' wife?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Well, they're calling her Sue Ellen Mischke. Remember Sue Ellen Mischke, who just wore the bra?
Yeah.
And you could see her you could see it. She had it unbuttoned, and you could actually see the bra,
the lace,
lingerie, whatever you wish to call it.
Right.
And there's a picture of Zuckerberg with his eyes looking right down at it.
Right. Yeah.
It's great.
Wow. Yeah, it's, I by the way, I saw that and I thought, it's Inauguration Day. Did you not have anything else?
It's not the Golden Globes.
It's not. It really isn't.
It's not the red carpet.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but get dressed. Put on some clothes, would you?
And if we're going to be fair, then we can't be sexist. We've got to say the same to Fetterman.
Yeah, definitely. Get dressed.
I've got
shorts.
I've got
basketball shorts and a hoodie.
Yes, they were basketball. I mean, I've got two basketball shorts like that I haven't played ball in a while, but I mean, I'll wear them around the house once in a while.
Yeah.
But even I'm getting to the point at my age going, okay, if you're doing lawn work, maybe, but you really can't run out for errands in basketball shorts. You're too old for that.
It's accepted that, you can wear sweats and everything, but I still have a thing about that even. I was going to, last week I was going to the pharmacy to pick up something at the drive-thru. And I'm getting dressed. My wife says, where are you going? I said, to the pharmacy. I got to pick something up. Well, aren't you going through the drive-thru? Yeah. What are you doing getting dressed? I'm going in my sweats. I'm not going anywhere in my sweats. Get dressed. And I'm only putting on jeans and a jacket. I'm not, it's not like I'm putting on a suit and tie to go drive through the pharmacy, but I'm not wearing sweats.
But the picture of Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Looking down. It looks like she's looking right at her chest. I mean, it was like, why are you paying attention to Zuckerberg when Clinton's there?
Exactly. Clinton's like, hi, I can't see from here. What's going on?
There's always a great picture of Clinton.
Oh, my gosh.
In the past, looking at some attractive woman who's near him.
And then Hillary rolling her eyes to the other direction. It's like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, man, to be a fly in the wall in that marriage.
Yeah. Melania, by the way, who I thought looked awesome. All the pictures looked really great. So well put together. I mean, she does that.
You know something?
Naturally.
That's the biggest. You want to know how big the culture shift has been?
Mm.
The media was talking about her in a positive way and what she was wearing.
Right.
And how good she looked.
Exactly.
The mainstream media.
Yeah.
I forgot to talk about that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Because they wouldn't mention her before,
Right.
remember?
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting is that she was kind of in his first term, there was a lot of things she didn't come out and say to his defense.
Mm-hmm.
Some a little bit, but last year in 2024, she was out there in full force.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
what they've done to my husband.
Well, she said, I'm staying in the White House.
Yep.
She's
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I saw a headline that says why Ivanka won't be coming back to the White House. And momentarily I was thinking Melania. And I thought, no, I thought she was, but it was his daughter. And she's basically done with politics, is what she said.
Yeah, but
she loved the whole thing. But
yeah, but she said she hopes she can still have some influence with her father.
there's no doubt she's going to be on the phone. She's working from home. She's going to be on the phone a lot.
She's working remote.
Exactly.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
It's now over a month old. The second federal order involving milk testing for a strain of the H5N1 HPAI virus in dairy cattle. The update on the National Milk Testing Strategy from Alex Turner of USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service includes 28 states enrolled since early January, consisting of nearly 65% of the nation's milk production.
States that are working through different ways to utilize the testing infrastructure that exists, as well as build some of the testing infrastructure if that doesn't exist within their state, and kind of do the surveillance testing to give us a national idea of where this virus is, where it isn't, and kind of where we're at.
Currently, 3 tranches of states have been announced for the NMTS based on their level of testing. The strategy also involves 5 stages reflecting a state's testing activity and the presence of H5N1 in their state. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90 Red Eye on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up following the bottom of the hour, some really interesting audio cuts about, a liberal who gets it and a liberal who doesn't.
Yeah.
About this election. But wow, it's going to be fascinating because, as we see, this is a much more, I think, disciplined Trump. When he came out yesterday, and I know I've said this once, but I'll probably repeat it a lot. I was really impressed when he went to that microphone. It was, you could tell in his mind, this isn't about fluff. I need to be blunt with the American public.
Right.
And I need to tell them the problem, where it came from.
Yep.
The fact that Democrats caused this, I'm going to fix it, and how.
Drawing that line and making that clear distinction as to how we got here and what needs to be done to fix it. That was basically job number one, and he did that. And that's exactly what you have to do from day one. You can't just soft sell this and, oh, thank you, and thank you, Biden, for all your service and blah, blah. Here's what they did, and here's what we're going to do to change it. Here's what they broke, and here's what we're going to do to fix it.
And I think the public is much more willing to accept it because we are no longer talking about these issues in the abstract or hypothetical.
Right.
People have felt in their own lives the consequences of government action.
Yep. And they want answers. They're waiting for things to start changing right away. And he had to deliver it the way he did yesterday.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. One of the questions you and I have been asking is, how are the Democrats going to respond here? I mean, what are they looking for in 2026? What do they view when they look at the Republican Party right now? What do they see? Because you and I have said we see a much focused party. I think Trump coming out yesterday and doing what he did in his inaugural speech was extremely focused and serious.
Yeah.
That we're going to get these things done.
Right.
I want to play this because this is from well-known liberal and Democrat Mark Halperin, who had this to say on his podcast yesterday.
It's not like second Clinton, second Bush, second Obama, because it's brand new. They're sweeping in new people. It's not the kind of jump starting to try to get some momentum for a few months after a reelect. But at the same time, obviously, it's not like the first term of a reelected president. There's been nothing like this. I will tell you, having interacted with lots of Trump people of all sorts this weekend, there's so much of a quiet confidence that they are going to produce a lot of change, that the Democrats are no match for them right now, that if they can get their internal house in order within the administration and between the Republicans on the Hill and in the White House, that they know what they're doing. And they are really infused with this private sector talent. All these people, particularly the tech people, but not just the tech people. There's so much private finance and CEOs of retail and aerospace, defense. There's so much confidence that they will deploy those people working public-private, but also that the private sector is ready to take the deregulation, the energy policies, the tax cuts eventually, and just everything in the executive orders, and take all of that and have huge economic growth and opportunity. And finally, there's less gloating. And Sean, I want to go to you and ask you about this in a moment. I sense less gloating amongst the Trumpers here than I would have expected. They're glad they won. They're excited to get started, but they are not triumphal. They're barely thinking about the Democrats. They're barely thinking about the election, except as a mandate to get stuff done.
All right, so that, and I agree with him on that. I think he's spot on. Now, where is the left? Where are the Democrats? Let's go to Joy Reid. What was she talking about yesterday?
Yeah.
You ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
No matter how you look at it, today has been an historical day for America, as any presidential inauguration is. But this one, atypical for many reasons. For one, it was indoors, presumably because of the weather, though I should note that today's chilly conditions were similar to those at President Obama's first and outdoors inauguration in 2009, calling many to speculate that the move indoors had more to do with concerns that Trump couldn't draw a sufficiently large crowd.
Yeah.
Don Lemon doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. You know, that's what the liberal media is focused on right now. They don't realize what's going on in the Republican Party. They don't realize what's gone on with Donald Trump.
Right.
They don't realize that not only did he survive the lawfare, not only did he win the election, he's alive.
Yeah.
And they apparently don't see or don't wish to see where the Republicans are heading. That's why, that's the one thing that you and I were both thinking when we came in today. We said, where are the Democrats going to go here? What are they thinking? They don't know where to go on this. And so they're they're going back to 2017.
Yeah, they really are. And quite frankly, no one really cares about the crowd size. No one cares about the crowd sizes. And they had to make that something, by the way, they'll never be able to prove. Well, if he had held it outside, you would have seen how small the crowd would have been. That's never going to be provable because it didn't go that way. We'll just go down this path here and have people believe, see, it's because they didn't have confidence in drawing a large crowd. Well,
and you think that's what Republicans are thinking right now, or even Trump is thinking right now?
Nobody is thinking. Nobody who voted for him is thinking that.
Look, size matters to Trump.
For him, it does.
In November.
To most people, it does not. You know?
No. Size matters.
Mm-hmm.
He won the popular vote.
Right. I mean, in 2017, in January 2017, he was talking about how big the crowd was and everything else, But
that's
the thing is
my point is they're so 2016, 2017
exactly
trying to analyze what Trump is doing. They've completely lost the evolution that Trump has had to this particular point where, think about it. I don't know in my lifetime of an administration coming in that is prepared to do as much as they wish to do and as organized as they have been coming into this one.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know of one. And it's so obvious, and it's, Mark Halperin, he sees it.
Mm-hmm.
Others see it. And meanwhile, the mainstream media is up there going, just because the size of the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
You don't get it. You don't even know where he is right now. You didn't see him come in with this. That's what really struck me. And I've seen it before. Really, and I will say this, maybe it's been much more clear post the assassination attempts.
Mm-hmm.
But he is focused.
Oh, yeah. No, there was no doubt yesterday he was focused. It was very clear. When you could see that it was very serious and he was on target on the issues in his speech. This was not a blah, blah, blah speech to see who can write or deliver the best speech. This was point by point, the job at hand and how we got here and why they have to do this job because the Democrats created this mess. He outlined that very clearly, point by point by point by point. And you saw it. I mean, the response on so many of those issues, that was, I can see and hear millions of Americans doing the same cheering. I have no idea what the crowd would have been like if it were held outside. Nobody cares. This is about day one. By the way, I'm also glad that in this setting, it was a very clear audio and delivery and setting for delivering a speech. You had no problem hearing what he was saying, no problem at all people coming in, sitting down, taking their seats, and this whole thing being carried out. It was, I think, the perfect setting to deliver, especially right there because Biden and Kamala Harris are sitting right there. And he comes in and just delivers the truth. This is what they did. And this is what I'm here to do.
Oh.
I mean, it was perfect the way it was, because there's no way if you're gonna go soft and well, we want to thank them for their years of public service and blah 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 blah, and just thank them and blah blah blah, and I want to pay tribute to blah 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 blah. Nobody cares about that. They want to know because there are people waiting. What are you going to do about inflation? What are you going to do about the border? What are you going to do about all this radical agenda and them coming after my kids in schools? What are you going to be doing from day one? And he made that clear.
I've covered a few inaugurations before. I'll never forget the first Bush one. When I can still remember one of the, I don't remember which ball I was at, but I was down at the pit right underneath the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on WMAL. So this goes back to 2000.
Right.
I can't remember. I was on with one of either a liberal host or a liberal guest. This goes way back then. And we're yelling at each other. And Bush is right there. I mean, he's like 20 feet away,
right,
with the first lady, and I'm screaming.
Right. Yeah.
It was just, but I've done so many political events. I've seen all the celebrations and everything else, and maybe it's just at my crotchety old age. I just want to get stuff done. It's like, get all this stuff. Let's finish it. Let's get it done. I don't care about the dancing. Don't care about the village people. Don't care about Hulk Hogan. Don't care about any of it. Okay, the desk to sign the executive orders, that was cool.
Yeah.
And I understand it, but it's just I'm so antsy to get substance done on it.
That's
so-
another reason why the speech was on point.
And that's what got me. I went, oh, okay, all right, go celebrate.
Right.
And then you gave me the speech. I know where you're headed. I saw what you did. Okay, you can have all the celebratory stuff. You can have you see the cake. The cake was huge.
Yeah.
You can go through all of that.
Right.
But I just I wanted that. Now again, I'm jaded. I get I can get cynical about politics at times from doing it. But I'll tell you this: even if it was all fluff in the speech, I don't know what it is. I can hardly ever keep myself together when the Battle Hymn of the Republic comes out.
Oh, yeah.
I get goosebumps just talking. I don't know what it is about that song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's you think. I mean, that song. The closest I ever get, and I'm not a blind patriot, but the closest I ever get to being a blind patriot is when that song comes on.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely destroys me.
Yeah.
It's just like I just think of all the soldiers and the sacrifice and what we all owe, back to this country. And that just, so I just want to make sure I got that because that one is cynical. And believe me, I get cynical. Like I said, stop with all that. Just get the job done. Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Well, that's really what hit me, I think, yesterday was that it's not just part of the process. It's an important part. And there needs to be, quite frankly, you need to tell me you need to tell me and everybody else what you're going to be doing and what this is all about, because none of this was earned if it wasn't earned on the battlefields.
Yeah.
And that's where we are as a nation. I think today, first and foremost, people want that clear outline. You got to get directly to the point. The wah, 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 bringing people together and wah, 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 wah. He made it very clear. He went point by point. And you saw it. You saw the outline. It's right there. It's like, all right. And then by the end of the day, he's got a number of those things already done. They're executive orders, but it's the difference between, again, over the last 4 years, not knowing who's in charge, and now knowing damn well who's in charge. There's no question.
Yeah, you especially the anchors. Well, we need a united speech because the rest of the world knows we had a peaceful transfer of power.
Yep.
The peaceful transfer of power took place at noon.
By the way, the rest of the world, our allies need to trust us, and our enemies need to fear us.
Right.
And now they do again.
So I don't need the extra celebrating or the fake. Everybody's doing a great job here.
Yeah, right.
To know that the peaceful transfer of power has gone through.
Yeah,
you know why?
Stop that. Right.
Because we're adults.
Right. Exactly.
And we understand how the system works.
Exactly.
866-90 Red Eye.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So there we go. A half day of work. Now, I'll tell you, Trump put in a full day of work for a half day.
Yeah. He doesn't sleep. Still coming up with new executive orders. It's like 2 a.m. Aren't you going to go to bed? I just did. Then I woke up.
I believe the last executive orders they put out, which was to let go over 1,000 people, because they're looking for loyalists.
Yeah.
They don't want it. They do not want what happened last time,
Right. Yeah.
where their own administration worked against them.
Mhm.
I think the last one came out at like 12:53
Mhm.
a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, that's him. It's and based on how serious it looked yesterday, he knows. One thing about Trump is he is concerned about his legacy, but he is also concerned about doing the job he said he's going to do. That's good. That's how you get to that point of legacy. That's how you build that legacy.
look,
and proving everybody wrong.
He's got a very, very tough job ahead,
Yeah.
but you have to feel a little bit more comfortable in where your legacy is going to be
Right.
when the people you just beat on the issues are insane.
Exactly.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.